No one tells you this, but as we age, certain habits push people away without us even realizing it. Are you guilty of any of these? Sapphira, 67, always considered herself warm and welcoming until she noticed people pulling away. From overcorrecting others to holding grudges, these habits may be making life lonelier than it should be. Sapphira, 67, spent decades as a dedicated nurse, always putting others first. She's warm, kind, and full of wisdom, or so she thought. But lately, something has changed. Friends don't call as often, conversations feel shorter, and family gatherings seem different. At first she brushed it off. People are just busy, right? But deep down she couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. One afternoon, after yet another cancelled coffee date, she started reflecting. Could it be something she was doing? Certain habits, things she never thought twice about, might be pushing people away. And the worst part? She never even realized it. Sapphira isn't alone. Many women unknowingly develop behaviors that create distance instead of connection. But here's the good news. Once you recognize them, you can change them. And when you do, relationships improve and life feels fuller again. Stick with me, because number 10 is one most people never notice, yet it makes a huge difference. And if any of these sound familiar, comment yeses below. Before we dive in, if you find this helpful, hit the like button. It really supports the channel. And don't forget to subscribe for life advice for older people. Now, let's get started. Overcorrecting others. Sapphira has always valued intelligence and accuracy. As a retired nurse, precision was a huge part of her career. Mistakes weren't an option. That mindset followed her into everyday life, where she took pride in helping others get things right. Whether it was correcting someone's grammar, fact-checking a casual story, or clarifying a minor mistake, she believed she was being helpful. But over time, she noticed something strange. Conversations felt colder, and people seemed less eager to engage. Then, one day, her granddaughter hesitated before speaking, carefully choosing her words. When Sapphira asked why, the young girl said, "I don't want to say it wrong." That hit her hard. It made her wonder how many people felt this way around her. The truth is, constant corrections, no matter how well intended, can make people feel small. It shifts the conversation from connection to critique. No one likes feeling like they're walking on eggshells, afraid to say the wrong thing. And when people feel judged, they withdraw. Sapphira realized she had a choice, be right or be kind. So instead of jumping in with a correction, she tried something different. The next time her friend mispronounced a word, she simply smiled and listened. And when someone shared a story that wasn't entirely accurate, instead of correcting them, she asked, "That's an interesting perspective. Tell me more. The results?" Conversations felt warmer, and people opened up more. She wasn't just hearing words, she was truly connecting. So ask yourself, have you ever caught yourself doing this? Maybe with friends, family, or even strangers? Let us know in the comments below. And if you're finding this helpful so far, don't forget to like this video. It really supports the channel. Now, let's move on to the next habit, one that's even easier to overlook. Talking more than listening. Sapphira has always been a storyteller. Decades of experiences, lessons and wisdom. She loves sharing them. Whether it's advice on raising kids, handling relationships or staying healthy, she sees every conversation as a chance to help others. But one afternoon, during lunch with an old friend, she noticed something unsettling. As she talked about her latest trip, her friend kept nodding, smiling politely, but her eyes kept drifting elsewhere. By the time Sapphira finished her story, there was an awkward pause. Her friend glanced at the time and said, "Well, I should get going." This wasn't the first time. Lately, deep conversations had become rare. People seemed eager to wrap things up. Sapphira wondered, was she talking too much? The truth is, no matter how interesting our stories are, if we dominate conversations, people start pulling away. Everyone wants to feel heard, but if a discussion feels one-sided, it becomes exhausting. Instead of connecting, others might feel like they're just there to listen. Sapphira decided to try something different. The next time she met a friend, instead of leading the conversation, she asked, "What's something exciting in your life right now?" And when they spoke, she didn't interrupt. She let pauses linger, showing she was fully present. The difference was immediate. Her friend lit up, sharing things Sapphira never even knew about. The conversation flowed naturally, and for the first time in a while, it felt like a real exchange, not just another story session. So, here's a question for you. When was the last time you truly listened without waiting for your turn to speak? Have you ever caught yourself talking more than you should? Let us know in the comments. And stick around, because the next habit is something many people do without realizing, and it quietly chips away at confidence. Over-apologizing. Sapphira has always believed in being polite. Saying sorry was second nature. It showed humility, kindness, and consideration. But lately she noticed something odd. At the grocery store, she whispered sorry as she reached for a can of soup. On the phone, she apologized for taking up time when asking a simple question. Even at family dinners, she caught herself saying, "Sorry for rambling," after sharing a short story. One day, her friend stopped her mid-sentence. "Why are you apologizing? You didn't do anything wrong." That moment hit her hard. She hadn't even realized how often she did it. Over-apologizing might seem harmless, but it quietly sends a message that you believe you're an inconvenience. It makes others see you as less confident, even when you don't mean to be. And worst of all, it chips away at self-worth. Sapphira decided to make a change. Instead of saying sorry for being late, she tried, "Thank you for waiting." Instead of sorry for asking, she said, "I appreciate your help." The shift was small but powerful. She noticed people responding differently. Conversations felt more balanced, and she felt more self-assured. So ask yourself, do you ever say sorry when you don't need to? Try replacing it with gratitude instead. It's a small change that can make a big difference. And stay with me, because the next habit is something most people don't realize they do, yet it slowly pushes others away. Being too critical. Sapphira always believed honesty was the best policy. If her friend wore an unflattering dress, she'd casually mention it. If her daughter served a dish that was too salty, she'd offer a quick critique. And when she saw someone making a choice she didn't agree with, she'd share her thoughts, because isn't that what caring people do? But then, one day, something happened. She was out shopping with her niece, Amelia, who picked up a bright-coloured jacket. Sapphira wrinkled her nose. "That colour doesn't really suit you." She meant it as helpful advice, but Amelia's smile faded. She put the jacket back and said, "I really liked it, though." That moment stuck with Sapphira. Had her comments been making people second-guess themselves? Were her honest opinions doing more harm than good? She started paying attention and realized how often she offered critiques no one asked for. The truth is, being overly critical, no matter how well-intentioned, can create distance. Even small comments can chip away at someone's confidence. No one likes to feel judged, and over time, too much criticism can make people hesitant to open up. So Sapphira made a new rule for herself. If it's not kind, necessary and helpful, she wouldn't say it. Instead of critiquing Amelia's choice, she could have said, "If you love it, you should wear it." Instead of commenting on a meal, she could have simply enjoyed the moment, and something interesting happened. Her relationships improved. People felt more comfortable around her. Conversations flowed more easily, and she realized that sometimes the best way to support someone is to let them be themselves. What about you? Have you ever caught yourself offering unsolicited opinions? Let us know in the comments below. And stick around, because the next habit is something many women struggle with, without even realizing how much it's affecting their happiness. Isolating instead of reaching out. Sapphira used to have an active social life. Weekly coffee dates, phone calls with old friends and impromptu lunches filled her calendar. But lately things had changed. The phone didn't ring as often, invitations became rare. And when weeks passed without hearing from anyone, she started wondering, did people just stop caring? At first she told herself that everyone was just busy. Life moves fast and younger family members have their own responsibilities. But as time went on, loneliness crept in. She scrolled through social media, seeing friends together, wondering why she hadn't been invited. Did they forget about me? Then, one evening, after another quiet dinner alone, a thought struck her. When was the last time I reached out? She realized she had been waiting for someone to call, waiting for an invitation, waiting for connection to just happen. The truth is, as we get older, social circles naturally shrink. People assume everyone is doing fine, and if no one speaks up, relationships fade. But the key difference between loneliness and connection isn't who reaches out first, it's whether you take action. So, Sapphira decided to test something. Instead of waiting for her friend Lillian to call, she picked up the phone. "Hey, I'd love to grab lunch this week. When are you free?" Instead of wondering if her neighbour would invite her over, she knocked on their door and said, "I just made some tea. Care to join me?" The results? People were happy to hear from her. Most had assumed she was busy too. And just like that, her calendar began filling up again. Not because people suddenly changed, but because she did. So here's something to consider. When was the last time you reached out first? Have you ever found yourself waiting instead of taking the first step? Let us know in the comments below. And keep watching, because the next habit is one that might be keeping you stuck in the past without even realizing it. Complaining about the good old days. Sapphira loved reminiscing. She'd tell stories about the days when kids played outside instead of staring at screens, when neighbours knew each other by name, and when people had real conversations instead of texting. To her, the past felt richer, simpler and better. But one evening at a family gathering, she noticed something. As she started another story about how things used to be, her granddaughter Ivy sighed and glanced at her phone. Her daughter Mira gave a polite smile but didn't respond. The energy in the room shifted, like they'd heard it all before. That moment lingered. Later she overheard Ivy whisper to her mum, "I get it, things were better back then, but it makes me feel like my life will never be as good." That stung. Sapphira never meant to make anyone feel that way. The truth is, nostalgia is beautiful. But when we constantly talk about how things were better in the past, it sends a silent message that today isn't good enough. Younger people might feel like they'll never measure up, like their world will never be as meaningful or exciting as the one we remember. And over time, those conversations push them away. Sapphira realized she needed a balance. Instead of just looking back, she started embracing the present. When Ivy showed her a new song, instead of saying, "Music was so much better in my day," she asked, "What do you love about this song?" When a friend talked about a new trend, instead of dismissing it, she said, "Tell me more. I'd love to understand it." And something changed. Conversations became richer. People opened up, and she found unexpected joy in discovering what was good about today without losing appreciation for the past. So, what about you? Have you ever caught yourself focusing more on what was instead of what is? Let us know in the comments. And keep watching, because the next habit is something that might be secretly draining your energy without you even realizing it. Sapphira had always believed that wisdom came with age. She'd lived through struggles, learned life lessons, and figured out what truly mattered. So when younger people spoke about their challenges, she often found herself thinking, they just don't understand real hardship. One afternoon she was chatting with her grandson Theo when he mentioned feeling stressed about work and social pressures. Without thinking, she sighed and said, "You have no idea what stress is. When I was your age, we didn't have the luxury of complaining." Theo went quiet. The conversation ended quickly, and later Sapphira noticed he didn't open up to her as much. That night she reflected on their talk. Had she just dismissed his feelings? Had her words made him feel unheard? The truth is, every generation faces struggles. They're just different. When we say things like, "Young people don't understand," or "Back in my day, we had it tougher," we create an invisible wall. It makes younger people feel like their experiences don't matter, and over time they stop sharing them. Sapphira decided to change her approach. The next time Theo talked about work stress, instead of dismissing it, she asked, "What's the hardest part for you?" When her niece mentioned social media drama, instead of rolling her eyes, she said, "Tell me more. I want to understand what that's like." And something surprising happened. Younger family members started opening up again. They invited her into their world, shared their dreams and struggles, and even asked for her advice, because they knew she would listen instead of dismiss. So, here's a question. Have you ever caught yourself thinking young people just don't get it? What if instead you asked, "What's important to you these days?" You might be surprised by what you learn. And keep watching, because the next habit is something that can slowly drain joy from your life without you even noticing. Sapphira used to love fashion. In her younger years, she had an eye for colour, accessorized with care, and always took pride in looking her best. But over time, something changed. She started prioritizing comfort above all else. Loose sweatshirts replaced tailored blouses. Worn-out shoes became her everyday choice. Shopping for new clothes felt pointless. After all, who was she trying to impress? One afternoon, while passing a store window, she caught a glimpse of herself. The woman staring back looked tired. Not just physically, but as if she had quietly stopped caring. That realization hit her harder than she expected. The truth is, personal style isn't about vanity, it's about self-respect. When we stop putting effort into how we present ourselves, it subtly tells the world and ourselves that we've given up. And that affects confidence, mood, and even the way others interact with us. Sapphira decided to make a small change. She bought a bright scarf, nothing extravagant, just something that made her feel put together. Then she started picking outfits with intention, not for others, but for herself. The result? She felt lighter, more energized, and even noticed people treating her differently, complimenting her, engaging more in conversation. Because when you feel good in what you wear, it shows. So, here's a thought. When was the last time you wore something that truly made you feel good? Let us know in the comments. And stay with me, because the next habit is something that can quietly affect the way people see you without you even realizing it. Sapphira had always believed in fairness. If someone wronged her, she remembered. She wasn't the type to yell or seek revenge, but she didn't forget. Over the years, small disappointments piled up. Her best friend never apologized for missing her birthday dinner. Her sister made a hurtful comment years ago, and her neighbor once borrowed her favorite book and never returned it. She told herself she had moved on. But deep down, she carried those grudges like invisible weights. Every time she saw those people, a small resentment resurfaced. Conversations felt stiff. Relationships remained distant. And without realizing it, she was the one suffering the most. One evening, while watching a documentary about longevity, something struck her. A researcher mentioned that holding on to grudges raises stress levels and even shortens lifespan. That night, Sapphira lay awake, thinking, was she really willing to let old wounds steal her peace? The next morning, she made a decision. She would choose peace over proving a point. Instead of waiting for apologies that might never come, she decided to release the resentment for her own sake. She called her old friend and said, "I've missed you. Let's catch up." She sent her sister a kind message with no mention of the past. And when she ran into her neighbor, she simply smiled and let go of the book in her mind. It wasn't worth holding on to anger. And something incredible happened. Her energy shifted. Relationships that once felt strained became light again. Not because others changed, but because she did. The truth is, grudges don't punish the other person. They punish you. So ask yourself, is there a grudge you're still holding on to? What would happen if you let it go today? Tell us in the comments. And keep watching, because the final habit is something that can silently steal your joy without you even noticing. Playing the martyr. Sapphira had spent her whole life taking care of others. As a nurse, a mother, and now a grandmother, she had always put everyone else first. Need a favor? She'd say yes. Need a last-minute babysitter? She'd cancel her plans. She believed that being selfless was the right thing to do. But deep down, resentment was building. She never said it out loud, but she wished people would notice how much she sacrificed. When no one acknowledged it, she felt unappreciated, even invisible. Then, one evening, after spending all day running errands for family, she collapsed onto the couch, exhausted. She picked up her phone and saw a text from her daughter. "Hey, Mum, can you watch the kids again tomorrow?" "No, thank you." "No, how are you feeling? Just another request?" Sapphira felt a wave of frustration. Why doesn't anyone see how much I do? But then a new thought hit her. Had she ever told them? She always smiled and said, of course. She never set limits, never said no. How could they know she was overwhelmed if she never admitted it? That night, she made a promise to herself. No more playing the martyr. She would set boundaries and allow herself rest without guilt. The next morning, when her daughter asked again, Sapphira did something different. She said, "I love spending time with the kids, but I have plans tomorrow. Let's find another day that works." To her surprise, her daughter simply said, "Oh, okay. I'll ask someone else." No anger, no disappointment, just a simple solution. That moment changed everything. Sapphira realized that taking care of herself wasn't selfish, it was necessary. When she respected her own needs, others did too. So what about you? Have you ever felt like you give and give, but no one sees it? Let's talk in the comments. Refusing to try new things. Sapphira had always been set in her ways. She ate at the same restaurants, watched the same TV shows, and stuck to the same routines she'd had for years. It wasn't that she disliked new things. She just didn't see the point in changing what was familiar and comfortable. Then one day her friend Delphine invited her to a painting class. "It'll be fun," Delphine said, but Sapphira hesitated. "I'm not an artist. I'll probably be terrible at it." She almost declined, but something stopped her. When was the last time she had tried something completely new? So she said yes. Walking into that class, she felt out of place. The brushes, the blank canvas, it was all unfamiliar. But as she dipped her brush into the paint and made her first stroke, something unexpected happened. She felt alive. The nervousness faded, replaced by a quiet excitement she hadn't felt in years. By the end of the class, her painting wasn't perfect, but it didn't matter. She had broken her own pattern. The truth is, routines provide comfort, but they can also make life feel stagnant. When we stop trying new things, we slowly shrink our world, and that can make life feel smaller, less vibrant, less exciting. After that class, Sapphira made a promise to herself. Say yes more often. She tried a new restaurant, learned to play a card game she had always avoided, and even signed up for a dance lesson. With every new experience, she felt lighter, more engaged, like a part of her had woken up again. So, here's your challenge. Say yes to one new thing this week. It doesn't have to be big, maybe a new recipe, a different route for your walk, or a hobby you've never tried. Whatever it is, step outside your routine and see how it feels. Have you ever pushed yourself to try something new, even when it felt uncomfortable? Let us know in the comments. And stay tuned, because the final habit might be the one that's holding you back from fully enjoying life, without you even realizing it. Avoiding difficult conversations. Sapphira had always believed that some topics were best left unspoken. She avoided difficult conversations not because she didn't care, but because she didn't want to stir up conflict or discomfort. She dodged discussions about money with her children, afraid they'd think she was a burden. She stayed silent about her health concerns, not wanting to worry anyone. And when it came to regrets, she buried them deep, pretending they didn't exist. But avoidance came at a cost. One evening at a family dinner, her daughter Mira casually mentioned retirement planning. "Mum, have you thought about what you want for the future?" Sapphira quickly changed the subject. Later that night, she overheard Mira whisper to her husband, "I wish she'd talk to us about these things. I don't want to guess when the time comes." That moment hit hard. By avoiding tough conversations, she wasn't protecting her loved ones, she was leaving them in the dark. The truth is, avoiding difficult topics doesn't make them disappear. It only creates unresolved tension, whether it's discussing financial plans, end-of-life wishes, old regrets, or unspoken apologies. Leaving things unsaid can weigh heavily on relationships. Sapphira knew she had to start somewhere. Instead of tackling everything at once, she wrote down one conversation she had been avoiding. The next morning, she sat down with Mira and said, "You asked about my future plans. I think it's time we talk." That one step changed everything. The more she opened up, the lighter she felt. And to her surprise, her family wanted to have these conversations. They weren't scared of them, she was. So, here's your challenge. Write down one tough topic you've been avoiding. Maybe it's a financial discussion, a long overdue apology, or a conversation about your health. Whatever it is, take the first step, because the hardest conversations are often the most important. Have you ever put off a conversation you knew you needed to have? Let's talk in the comments. At first, Sapphira didn't think small changes would make much difference. But as she started adjusting her habits, something surprising happened. People responded differently. When she listened more than she talked, conversations felt deeper. When she let go of grudges, relationships felt lighter. And when she started prioritizing herself, she felt alive again. One afternoon, as she sipped coffee at her favorite cafe, she noticed something she hadn't in a long time. She felt seen, not because she demanded attention, but because she was fully present, intentional, and open to growth. Aging isn't about becoming invisible, it's about becoming intentional. How we show up in the world shapes the way others see and treat us. And the best part, it's never too late to change. If any of these habits resonated with you, take it as a sign to reflect and adjust, not out of guilt, but out of power. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these habits do you recognize in yourself? Let's talk in the comments. And if this video helped you, hit like, share it with a friend who needs to hear this, and subscribe for more aging advice after 60.